Across the dunes of Arabia, a moment of change was unfolding. In the year 622 CE, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his followers left Mecca, leaving behind their homes, wealth, and businesses. They journeyed into the unknown, towards a city that would soon transform in ways unimaginable, Yathrib, later known as Medina. But how did this humble city rise to become the beating heart of commerce in the Islamic world? This is the untold story of how Medina flourished through business after the Prophet's migration. Before the Prophet's arrival, Medina was a city divided. Its society was split between the Khazraj and Aus tribes, who were locked in a bitter conflict. For years, their infighting had torn the city apart, leaving their economy in ruins. The Jewish tribes, who had established control over Medina's main markets, watched as the Arab tribes weakened themselves through wars, seizing control of the city's commerce and wealth. The Jewish tribes, particularly through leaders like Abu Rafi, controlled the lifeblood of Medina's economy, its marketplace. Loans given with exorbitant interest, combined with a strategy to keep the Arabs divided, allowed the Jewish merchants to dominate commerce. Medina's economy was dwarfed by Mecca, a wealthy trade hub due to its strategic location near the Kaaba and the trade routes that spanned the Arabian Peninsula. When the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, migrated to Medina, he brought not only a new spiritual message but also an opportunity for economic revival. Alongside him came the Muhajirun, the migrants from Mecca, many of whom had left behind their businesses and wealth. Among them were prominent merchants like Abdul Rahman bin Auf and Uthman bin Affan, they say Allah be pleased with them, some of the wealthiest men of Mecca. The Prophet, peace be upon him, created a bond of brotherhood between the Ansar, the locals, and the Muhajirun. In an incredible display of generosity, Sa'd bin Rabi offered to share half of his wealth with Abdul Rahman bin Auf. Sa'd said,
"Brother, I offer you half of my wealth. Take it, as we are now one family."
Abdul Rahman replied,
"May Allah bless you and your wealth, Sa'd. Just show me the way to the market. I wish to earn with my own hands."
He knew that wealth earned through his own hard work would bring far greater blessings. When Abdul Rahman bin Auf reached the marketplace, he realized that the Jewish merchants had a firm grip on Medina's economy. Abu Rafi, the leader of the Jewish traders, controlled the prices and profits, ensuring that the Jews thrived while the Arabs remained economically subservient. Loans were given at steep interest rates, trapping many Arab leaders in debt, preventing them from opposing the monopoly. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, knew that Medina's economic independence was crucial. Instead of a direct boycott of the Jewish market, he did something remarkable. He established a new market. This market, built near the Prophet's mosque, would follow Islamic principles of fairness, transparency, and mutual benefit. It was a marketplace free from monopolistic practices, where trade could flourish without corruption or exploitation. One of the most revolutionary steps was the gradual prohibition of usury, riba, in Islam. This was a game-changer for the Muslim community. The Jewish tribes had profited immensely from lending money at high interest rates, which left the Arabs in perpetual debt. But once usury was banned, Muslims began to free themselves from this financial bondage. With the ban on usury, the Muslims of Medina were no longer trapped by the debts that had crippled their economy. This, combined with the new marketplace, allowed them to regain control of their economic destiny. For the first time, they could engage in trade without the fear of exploitation. The new market in Medina wasn't just a place of trade, it became a symbol of justice and equality. The Prophet himself supervised the market, ensuring that transactions were fair and ethical. Prices were not manipulated, and everyone, regardless of their background, had the opportunity to thrive. Unlike the narrow, crowded streets of the Jewish market, the Muslim market was designed with order and efficiency in mind. Wide pathways were created to allow camels and carts to pass easily, and a system of market police ensured that no one was cheated or oppressed. A registry system kept track of traders, making the market transparent and accountable. To motivate the people of Medina to embrace business, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, made a powerful statement. Whoever trades in this market, it is as if he is performing jihad in the path of Allah. For the Muslims, business was now seen as a form of worship and striving for Allah's pleasure. With this mindset, they entered the marketplace with the same zeal they had on the battlefield. Young Muslims, inspired by this call, began to see business as an honorable and essential pursuit. The Prophet, peace be upon him, also emphasized that the best wealth is that which is earned through one's own hands. This shift in mentality led to an economic boom as more and more people became involved in trade. Slowly but surely, the influence of Jewish merchants like Abu Rafi began to wane. Muslim traders, led by figures like Abdul Rahman bin Auf, started dominating the market. With fairness and ethics at the core of their trade, they won over customers from far and wide, and the Muslim market began to eclipse the Jewish one. Meanwhile, Hazrat Uthman, may Allah be pleased with him, used his wealth to buy a well from a Jewish merchant, ensuring that water was freely available to all Muslims. Acts of charity and generosity became the hallmark of Muslim merchants, setting them apart from the profit-driven practices of the Jews. As the Muslims began to gain economic power, the Jewish tribes grew resentful. Despite an earlier agreement to live in peace, the Jews broke their pact during the Battle of the Trench, siding with the Meccans against the Muslims. This act of betrayal was their final downfall. After the Jewish betrayal, their control over Medina's economy was finally broken. The Muslim market continued to grow, and within a few years, under the leadership of the Prophet and later the Caliphate, Medina became not only a spiritual center, but an economic powerhouse. It was from this marketplace that Muslim merchants spread the message of Islam to the far corners of the world. From a divided city, torn apart by war, to a thriving economic hub, Medina's transformation was nothing short of extraordinary. The Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, vision of a just, ethical, and fair marketplace laid the foundation for an economy that would spread across the globe. The lessons of Medina's marketplace are still relevant today, reminding us that fairness, hard work, and ethical trade are the keys to lasting success.
An honest and trustworthy merchant will be with the prophets, the truthful, and the martyrs.